sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Country.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Washington Nationals. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday to you, wherever you may be. The high-flying Dodgers with a record of 15-6. Should they win today, they'll have the best start since the 1983 club. And for the Dodgers, they continue to win series. They've now beaten the Nationals, which means they have won 5 of 7 series this year, and going back to last year, 15 of the last 18 series. Today, they'll give the ball to left-hander Chris Capuano, and he'll go up against Gio Gonzalez from Washington. Pull up a chair. We got a good one right coming up after this.
The Nationals, Dodgers go for the sweep with Steve Lyons and Patrick O'Neill. What a game it was last night. Oh. Bryce Harper getting called up, and his first opportunity in the bigs. He may be one of the best if he works really hard, and a great pitcher in Strasburg. But on the other side for the Dodgers, we kind of left alone one of the best players in the game, didn't we?
Yeah, they didn't even come up. No one wanted to talk to Matt Kemp before the game, and he's happy with that. It was a complete circus atmosphere at this ball game yesterday. Bryce Harper, just 19 years old, turns the corner, looks over and says, oh my goodness, there's about 50 media members that want to talk to me. They have Strasburg, they have Harper, they have a bright future. But those guys are going to have to work awfully, awfully hard over the next 5 or 6 years to be as good as that man right there. Because Matt Kemp ended the day with a big home run and put his stamp on what becomes an instant classic baseball game. So the day began with a whole lot of promise. It ended with greatness in Matt Kemp.
Yeah, and you know what? We certainly cannot take it for granted. I mean, Nationals have a bright future, but day in and day out, we get to see Clayton Kershaw and Matt Kemp. So
yeah, and add to the list, you're looking at guys like Andre Ethiers having an outstanding season too, and some of the guys in the back half of that bullpen. Kenley Jansen, so much fun to watch. D. Gordon when he gets things straightened out. A lot of good reasons to love this team.
It should be fun, so sit back, relax, because you never know what Matt Kemp has in store next.
New Hyundai owners are talking about their cars in the booth. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By CarMax, start the search for your next car at CarMax. Start here. And by Dodge. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Sunday afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers home at Dodger Stadium for the final game on a very successful homestand, and it finds the ball club after 21 games in first place, 4 games in front of the Giants as the Dodgers take the field. For the Dodgers, among other things, a modest 2-game winning streak. They've won 2 in a row against the Washington Nationals. Nationals have continued to get fine pitching, but for Davey Johnson, he has a ball club that has a lot of struggles as far as scoring runs. They are struggling so much that they called up the 19-year-old Bryce Harper to make his Major League debut last night, and Tyler Moore is a kid at 25 who will be in left field making his Major League debut today. So here's the way Washington stacks up. Ian Desmond at short and Steve Lombardozzi at third for the injured Ryan Zimmerman. Danny Espinosa at second and Adam LaRoche at first base. Jason Worth is not in the lineup, so Xavier Nady plays right field. Tyler Moore, just called up, is in left field. Bryce Harper, who made his Major League debut last night, is in center field. Jesus Flores behind the plate, and Giovanni Gonzalez, better known as Gio, on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Chris Capuano. Capuano 2-0. Last year he was 1-1 while pitching for Milwaukee against Washington. The 33-year-old is 2-3 in his career against the Nationals. He won his second game as a Dodger against Atlanta, allowing just 1 run in 7 innings. He has been very tough on left-handed hitters. However, he will still have LaRoche and Harper to contend with. And for Chris Capuano, an admirable background when you realize twice he had Tommy John surgery in 2002 and 2008. He's a graduate of Duke University, Phi Beta Kappa with an economics degree. And for Capuano, 34 years old, 6'2" and 220. So Capuano ready to face Ian Desmond, Steve Lombardozzi, and then Danny Espinosa. Desmond is not exactly the type of leadoff hitter that you want, for the simple reason he doesn't get on base unless he gets base hits. He's only walked 5 times in 21 games. So Ian hitting .250. He does have a little sock. He had 8 home runs last year, and the right-hand hitter takes a strike, and we're underway. He is struggling at the plate. He's gone hitless in his last 13 at-bats after having a modest 4-game hitting streak. So Capuano out in front with the first pitch, comes right back, misses inside, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. The scoreboard obviously not working for the moment. So 1-1 the count to the leadoff man. A beautiful day. Temperature here 74 degrees. The 1-1 pitch in for a strike, and the count 1-2. So Chris Capuano trying to make it 3-0. Chris up on top, works for the third base side of the rubber. The outfield plays Desmond straight away. Light breeze stirring the flags, but only a breeze. And the next pitch, breaking ball swung on and missed, and down goes the struggling Desmond. So 1 out in the first inning. Here are the Dodgers with the leather. Gwynn, Kemp, and Defier in the outfield, with Uribe, Sellers, Ellis, and Loney on the infield. Behind the plate, Matt Trainer handling Capuano. So the Dodgers take D. Gordon for a rest. They play Justin Sellers, and A.J. Ellis takes a well-deserved rest, and Matt Trainer behind the plate. So we have 1 away in the first inning. Here's Steve Lombardozzi, switch hitter, batting right-handed, and takes a strike. For Lombardozzi, trying to play for Ryan Zimmerman, doing the best he can. He went 0 for 5 last night, 0 for 4, so he's 0 for 9 in the series. And he takes a pitch that misses. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Steve Lombardozzi. We mentioned it the other night. His father hit 400 in the 1987 World Series, helping Minnesota beat the Cardinals. So he's a chip off the old block indeed. Hitting in the number 3 slot is the second baseman, Danny Espinosa. Capuano ready and comes back, and the pitch swung on and missed. The bat goes flying into the Dodger dugout. So Lombardozzi having trouble getting a grip and scaled that thing all the way into the dugout. So they'll bring it back to him. 1 out here in the first inning. We're just starting. Washington, we mentioned the outfield, all of the outfielders together have a total of 3 home runs. Matt Kemp has 11 all by himself. Of course, things could be worse. During the war in 1945, the Washington Senators had 1 home run the entire season at home. And the 1 home run was inside the park. So it could be worse. And the next pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate. A fellow by the name of Joe Kuhl, Kuhel, had the inside the park home run. Of course, 1945, 1944, a lot of the good ball players were in the service. So they were kind of off years. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Lombardozzi waiting. Capuano ready. Here he comes inside, trying to get the corner, and he runs the count all the way. 3-2 the count. Dodgers will leave town immediately after the game. So will Washington. They go home. They're off. Dodgers open up tomorrow night in Colorado. 3-2 pitch is swung on. A fly ball to deep left field, but not deep enough for Washington. Tony Gwynn goes back and makes the catch. So 2 down in the first inning, and the batter will be Danny Espinosa. Danny Espinosa is a local boy from Santa Ana. Last year, he had 21 home runs, but he's a switch hitter, but batting left-handed, he's more of a switch swinger. He struck out 132 times batting left-handed and only 34 times right-handed. So he'll try right-handed against Capuano. Chris looks in to get a sign, comes to the right-hand batter with a curveball for a strike. Desmond, who struck out in the first inning, has hit 2 home runs against Capuano. Espinosa has hit 1, and Xavier Nady, who is playing right field for Jason Worth, also has 1. Breeze blowing out left to right, and the strike 1 pitch down at Espinosa's right foot, and they count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Chris Capuano will be 34 in August out of Springfield, Massachusetts. Grew up a big Roger Clemens fan. That certainly figured. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way, and it's a sinker swung on and missed 1-2. Capuano was an all-star in 2006. Has a great reputation of a terrific move to first base. One year he picked off 12 men back in 2005, so that convinced the league about the move, and they don't try to run on him very much. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming up, taken low and inside by Danny. 2-2 the count. Espinosa followed Troy Tulowitzki at Long Beach State. Capuano waiting for Espinosa to get back in the box. Danny had 21 home runs last year. Now the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. That was in the dirt. So all Capuano does is strike out 2 of the 3. Washington down in order. And at the end of half an inning, Washington nothing. Dodgers coming up. Capuano made 16 pitches. Here's the Dodger lineup now. Tony Gwynn leading off in left field. Mark Ellis at second base. Matt Kemp in center and Andre Ethier in right. Juan Uribe moves up a bit, playing third base, followed by James Loney. Justin Sellers spelling D. Gordon at short. Matt Trainer spelling A.J. Ellis behind the plate. And Chris Capuano on the mound. On the mound for Washington, Giovanni Gonzalez, better known to the world as Gio, 5'11", 185, a left-hander. And a great note about Gonzalez, especially on the count. If he gets 2 strikes on a hitter, it's very interesting. Tell you why. Tony takes a strike and they count 0-1. Tony Gwynn moving around in the outfield, starting today in left field with Juan Rivera down. Rivera did appear as a pinch hitter last night. Tony hitting .267. The pitch inside. Here's the note. When Gio gets 2 strikes in the count, doesn't make any difference if it's 0-2 and then it goes 0-2, 1-2, 2-2, or 3-2. The 1-1 pitch is down and away, ball 2. Anyway, with a 2-strike count, batters have not gotten a hit yet this year against Gonzalez. They are 0 for 42 with a 2-strike count. Rather remarkable. He also has 20 scoreless innings, and Gio's fastball is very high, ball 3, 3-1. It will be interesting when Gonzalez pitches to Matt Kemp, who's become a tremendous hitter despite the fact he might have 2 strikes on him. Here's the pitch coming up, and it's way outside off the mitt of Jesus Flores, and Gwynn is aboard with the walk. So coming into the game, Gio had an earned run average of 1.5. The opposition is hitting 157 against him in 23 innings, 7 walks, and 27 strikeouts. So almost 4-1. So here now is Mark Ellis. Ellis, the right-hand hitting second baseman, got into the game late. And sure enough, got a base hit in the 9th inning and came around to score. He takes a look at his strike, and the count 0-1. So both Mark Ellis and the left-hander Gio Gonzalez played for Oakland. And Mark backs out, looks down to Tim Wallach for the moment. Dodgers playing very tough games, but more importantly, they are winning them. Ellis sprays one foul to the right upstairs, and the count 0-2. Last year, Ellis was at Oakland, so he and Gio Gonzalez were teammates. Actually, they were teammates for quite a few years, going all the way back to 2005. So Mark waiting. Gio at 5'11", bends at the waist, now straightens up. He's got 2 strikes, so let's see what happens. Fastball is swung on and missed. So now with 2-strike count, the hitters are 0 for 43. And now here comes a 2-strike hitter by the name of Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp, who hit one to the background in center field. You know, if you come out here, there are 2 black areas on the left and right side of the huge screen in center to furnish a little extra backdrop for the hitters. And Matt hit his ball halfway up the black rectangle on the right side of the center field fence last night. Matt waiting in the first pitch, swung on and missed, 0-1. I think Matt Kemp last year convinced everybody about his talent, and if it's humanly possible, he's even improved on that. Gonzalez throwing hard. He had 94 on the gun with that pitch. Kemp hitting .442, 11 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Gonzalez throws one in the dirt, and down to second on the wild pitch goes Tony Gwynn. The wild pitch really did in Washington last night. Henry Rodriguez came in and was throwing the ball all over the lot. It was the same Gonzalez, Henry, that we remember throwing the ball up on the screen the last time we saw him. And sure enough, he was even wilder last night, despite the fact he's the first man we know to have hit 104 on the Dodger speed gun. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Matt Kemp, swung on and fouled away. So again, here's the challenge now. Kemp has 2 strikes. He has become such an improved hitter, never mind home runs and power, but he's hitting over 600 with a 2-strike count. And now he's against a left-hander, and the hitters are 0 for 43 with 2 strikes. So this is a little battle inside the WAR. Gio set, looks back at second, and the 1-2 pitch on the way. Matt takes inside, almost took the letters off his jersey, and the count 2-2. Gio Gonzalez from Hialeah, Florida, originally a first-round pick by the White Sox. At second base, Tony Gwynn, who walked and was wild pitched up a notch. 2-2 the count to Matt Kemp. Gonzalez ready, again looking back at second. Comes to the plate, and it swung on and missed. So the 2-strike hitters are now 0 for 44. What a remarkable story for Gio Gonzalez. So 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Gio Gonzalez, and the batter is Andre Ethier. Wow, that's something. 0 for 44 if Gonzalez gets 2 strikes on you. So let's see about Andre Ethier. Ethier checking in, has never had an at-bat against Gonzalez. Andre hitting .284, 5 home runs, and tied with Kemp, 24 runs batted in. Gonzalez looks back, now the left-hander to the plate. Looked like a little slider or a cutter in for a strike. It just jumped at the last moment. No balls and 1 strike to count. He throws a fastball as high as 94. He has a 2-seamer, throws a curveball and a change, so I guess that was just a fastball with some hop. The strike 1 pitch on the way. Gio, very deliberate, comes back on the hands, and it's hit foul outside of third and down the line. Well, here we go again, another 2-strike count. So Andre Ethier facing the left-hander, Gio Gonzalez, who is number 1 in the National League in the rate of strikeouts to plate appearances. The Nationals are 4-0 in his 4 starts. Gio hides the ball back of his left hip. Now straightens up, has a look back at second base at Gwynn, and the pitch very high, one-handed by Jesus Flores. And the count 1-2. No score, bottom of the first inning. The Dodgers have played 21 games, and 11 of them have been decided by 1 run. And doing exceptionally well, the Dodgers have won 8 of 11. Of course, Matt Kemp did the big blow last night. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Ethier swings and misses, so he strikes out the side with 2 strikes. They are now 0 for 45 against this left-hander. And at the end of an inning, wow, no score. For Washington, they continue to get great starting pitching. And, of course, Gio just struck out the side, made 17 pitches. For the Dodgers now, after having Ellis, Kemp, and Ethier all go down on strikes, now it's Washington's turn to bat. LaRoche, Nady, and Moore. Adam with 2 home runs in the series, and the left-hand hitter takes a strike. Washington scored 2 runs in the first game and 3 runs in the second game. and the starting pitching was magnificent. Strasburg last night did not allow a run, and Detweiler finally gave up a couple in his start. Of course, for the Washington pitchers, I'm not sure if any of them are students of the game or not, but if they were or are, there's something to look up as LaRoche takes outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ross Detweiler, who started the first game and was very impressive, and then Steven Strasburg last night. One of the greatest pitchers of all time toiled for the Washington Senators by the name of Walter Johnson. The 1-2 pitch is low, 2-2. 1 year, Walter Johnson lost 10 games because Washington failed to get him a run. 10 losses. So these kids should look it up and say, well, okay, if it was good for Walter Johnson, it's okay for me. The 2-2 pitch on the hand, swung on, and fouled right into the Washington dugout. Of course, for Walter Johnson, he was a remarkable pitcher. He won 20 games 12 times, and he is second all-time to Cy Young. Walter Johnson won 416 games. 2-2 pitch on the way, in there at the knees, strike 3 called. So Capuano picks up his 3rd strikeout with 1 out in the 2nd inning. And the batter now, Xavier Nady. So Nady, the right-hand hitter, playing in right field today for Jason Worth. Worth struggling. Jason had a base hit last night, went 1 for 5 and 0 for 3. So he was 1 for 8. Apparently, Davey didn't think he was swinging the bat well enough and decided to give him a rest. And the first pitch to Nady, in for a strike. One other note on Walter Johnson as Davey looks on. The strike 1 pitch, Navy takes off the plate. Walter Johnson holds the major league record. He had 38 victories by the score of 1-0, and he had 26 losses by the score of 1-0. So in his unbelievable career, Walter Johnson threw 110 shutouts, if you can possibly imagine that. He had 327 complete games, too. Here's the 1-1 pitch, ground ball to third. Uribe is up with it, sets for the throw. It's on the money, Deloney. And we have 2 down in the 2nd inning. And now another young man making his major league debut. His name is Tyler Moore. And of course, everybody says, oh, Mary Tyler Moore. This kid is out of Brandon, Mississippi. Went to Mississippi State. And the Nationals drafted him 3 times. In 2005 out of high school. In 2006 after his first year at community college. And finally, the 3rd time was the charm in 2008. He takes a curveball high, ball 1. Tyler has a lot of power. In the minor leagues, 2 years in a row, he hit 31 home runs. He also strikes out a lot. He swings and lifts a high fly ball down the left field line, heading towards the stands and out of play. 1-1. Tyler Moore is 6'2", 190, just 25 years old. Working his way up in the Nationals minor league chain. He's knocked in a lot of runs, hit a lot of home runs, but we mentioned he also strikes out a lot. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way. Tyler swings and hits one deep but foul. That thing way down the left field line, second level. Last 2 years, Tyler Moore tied Arizona's Paul Goldschmidt for the most minor league RBIs over the last 2 seasons. So he can hit. Problem is contact. 1-2 pitch. Capuano delivers. Ground ball wide to third. Up with it is Uribe to throw him out. So a 1-2-3 inning. Capuano has retired 6 in a row. And at the end of an inning and a half, no score. Bottom of the second inning, no score in the ball game. The Dodgers will have Juan Uribe, James Loney, and then Justin Sellers. Gio Gonzalez struck out the side in the first inning. He has a string now of 21 consecutive scoreless innings. And the first pitch to Uribe drives him off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Uribe hitting .278. Half a dozen RBIs, had a big double last night in the 9th inning. Squirts one up along first. Gonzalez over to tag him out. So Uribe taps to the pitcher, and we have 1 out in the second inning. Gio, with 3 strikeouts in the first inning, now has 30 strikeouts in 24 innings. And the batter is James Loney. So Loney coming up. James hitting .226 with a home run. 4 runs batted in. Gonzalez from the third base side of the rubber, waiting for James to check in. Now Gonzalez ready, and the left-hander delivers, and Loney takes just off the plate. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. The starting staff for Washington has just been so good, almost takes your breath away. Gonzalez ready and comes back 1-0, and the left-hander's fastball is grounded to first. LaRoche is up with it, brings it to the bag, and we have 2 down in the second inning, and Justin Sellers coming up. To give you an idea, 4 of Washington's 5 starting pitchers have had ERAs in the zeros or 1. Steven Strasburg is 1.1. Jordan Zimmerman 1.3. Gio 1.5. Ross Detweiler 1.6. I mean, that's unbelievable. They are in first place, but with that great pitching, they're only 1 game in front of Atlanta. Justin Sellers runs up to bunt, takes inside. 1 ball and no strikes to Justin. Sellers with Matt Trainer hitting back of him. 2 out. Bottom of the second inning, no score. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Sellers sprays it over the head and inside the right field foul line. The ball hits and doesn't come to the right fielder. So Sellers keeps on going into second baseman with a flared double. Just got it over LaRoche's leap, and it landed just inside the right field foul line. So Sellers going the other way, doubles to right, and that'll bring up Matt Trainer. Trainer catching once a week. By the way, that points up the fact that A.J. Ellis has just done a remarkable job. The young Dodger catcher is hitting .288. He's walked 14 times. He has 7 RBIs. He has put up some big numbers. And the Dodgers delighted with his work as well as handling the staff. So Trainer takes a little high. Ball 1, 1-0. One other note about A.J. Ellis. He's 3rd in the league in on-base percentage. So Trainer, a very difficult job, playing once a week. And the 1-0 pitch on the way. Matt looks at a breaking ball strike, and the count 1-1. Matt Trainer, born in Garden Grove, lives in Anaheim. His wife, of course, a very famous professional volleyball player, Misty May Trainer. 1-1 the count to Matt. Gonzalez will look back at second. Very careful with the runner. Comes back inside. Almost hit Trainer. 2 balls and 1 strike. Matt's been around. He was originally signed by the Royals at a Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana. And then came up quickly to the Marlins. And he was with the Marlins for about 6 years. Then went to the Tigers, the Rangers, the Royals, and now with the Dodgers. 2-1 pitch to Matt, swung on, hit in the air to left field, moving over, waiting is Moore to make the catch, and that's that. So no runs, a double by Sellers and a man left, and at the end of 2, no score. Game, the Dodgers in Washington. It'll be Bryce Harper followed by Jesus Flores, and then the pitcher Gio Gonzalez. Harper broke in with a bang last night. He survived a media crunch before the game and then came up. First time at bat, he hit back to the box. Next time up, he hit a fly ball to left. The third time up, he hit the base of the center field fence, driving one over Matt Kemp's head for a double. In the ninth inning, he lined out to left to drive in what, for the moment, would have been the winning run. He also made a magnificent throw to the plate. So Harper shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. 19 years old. Young Bryce waiting at the plate. Dodgers had a kid during the war. Tommy Brown played some third base in the outfield, right-hand batter. He was 16. Harper fouls a pitch away in the count 0-2. A wonderful player who broke in with a bang with the Giants, Whitey Lockman, Carl Whitey Lockman. He was 18. Adrian Beltre was a kid. He doubled in his first big league game, so it has happened. 0-2 the count to Harper, and the left-hand hitter takes very high, ball one. 1-2 the count. So Bryce Harper, just starting, 6'3", 225, a first-round pick. They've been waiting for him for years. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Harper swings and fouls it back. Harper was such a good ball player that he not only played regular ball in grammar school and high school, but he also played what they call today club ball, and he averaged anywhere from 80 some odd to 130 games a year from the time he was 12. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Harper swings, taps it wide to third. Uribe is up with it, gets it over to first just in time. Harper motoring down the line, and we have one away in the third inning. So one out. Jesus Flores coming up. Trying to think of things about Washington. Of course, they were the Senators way back when. Then they moved to Minnesota. Then the expansion Washington Club went to Texas. And now we have the Washington Nationals by way of the Montreal Expos. One of the more traditional sites in baseball is the ceremonial first pitch. And the Washington Senators had the first one. It was the first pitch ceremonial thrown by the President of the United States, William Howard Taft, back in 1910. The 1-0 pitch on the way is swung on and missed. I'm not sure, but I think William Howard Taft also started the seventh inning stretch. He just happened to stand up in the seventh inning, and the President of the United States stood, so everybody in the ballpark stood. And I believe that was the origin of the seventh inning stretch. Meanwhile, 2-1 the count to Flores. We're in the top of the third, no score, not much going on, solid pitching. Capuano from the third base side of the rubber. Chris Reddy in his 2-1 pitch swung on, fouled away outside of third, and the count 2-2. Dodgers leave, head for Colorado. Aaron Harang will pitch tomorrow night. Ted Lilly will pitch game 2. Clayton Kershaw will pitch game 3. Dodgers are off on Thursday. They'll spend next weekend in Chicago and then come home to face the Giants. 2-2 fastball is in there. Down, strike 3, the inside corner at the knees. That's 4 strikeouts for Capuano. We've had 7 strikeouts so far in the game. A reminder, talking about 7, Monday, May 7th, Dodgers and Giants for the first time this season. You can get your Dodger cooler bag presented by Time Warner Cable. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So with 2 out in the third inning, here's Gio Gonzalez, and the pitcher takes low, ball 1. 1-0. No score in the ball game, top of the third. Capuano into the windup, back he comes, and there's a towering fly ball to left. Gwynn looking up into the blue, waiting, and makes the catch for the out. So that's 9 in a row retired by Chris Capuano. He struck out 4, and at the end of 2.5 innings, no score. In the ball game, the Dodgers in Washington. Chris Capuano has retired 9 in a row. Meanwhile, the left-hander Gio Gonzalez walked Gwynn, gave up a double to Sellers, but he's also struck out the side in the first inning. So no score, bottom of the third. Another kind of interesting note involving the Washington Senators. You know, ever since they played this game, and I don't care whether it's in Sandlot or all the way in the major league, if an umpire makes a bad call, they always question his eyesight. And umpires were extremely sensitive about that. So even if they needed glasses, they never wore glasses on the field, ever. And, of course, there were no contact lenses way back when. But it was a Washington Senators game. They were playing the Yankees. And it was 1956. I mean, not that far, though. Capuano takes a strike. Anyway, an American League umpire by the name of Ed Rommel in a Washington Yankees game played in Washington, D.C., wore glasses. It was April of '56. He bore the brunt of it. So then shortly after, certainly a fellow we knew very well, Larry Getz, National League umpire, he said, well, if Rommel can wear them, and he wore glasses. Of course, today you'd never know with the contacts, but it's one of those stories that involve the old Washington Senators. First in war, first in peace, last in the American League. That was the old expression. Capuano, meanwhile, looks and down he goes. 4 strikeouts for Gonzalez. We've had 8 strikeouts in the game.
Tony Gwynn Jr.
Ed Rommel, by the way, was an umpire in the American League for 21 years, from 1938 to 1959. So we have 1 out, third inning, no score. Here's Tony Gwynn, walked and was wild pitched to second. Tony, of all the Dodgers, looks like he's wearing a borrowed uniform. His pants are like sails. He takes outside, ball 1. I mean, everybody else has pretty much slim, tight-fitting uniforms. I mean, all I'd have to do is Mark Ellis on deck, but not Tony. He runs up the bunt, takes a strike, 1-1. You would have to believe wearing baggy drawers like that, it's by design. Maybe he figures he might be hit by a pitch. Of course, when the wind comes up, he might have trouble holding his ground out there. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and Tony takes high, ball 2. We'll have to ask him about that. Tony, what are you hiding in there? In the old days, those heavy flannel uniforms certainly looked like that. He lifts one into shallow left, a trio of Nats, and it's the shortstop Desmond making a backhand grab going out. Nice play by Ian. Gwynn pop fly into shallow left, and with 2 down, the batter is Mark Ellis. So Desmond going out. He had Moore and Harper coming in, but the shortstop makes the play. That's where you need complete concentration, because you know there's an outfielder ready to run up your back. So that was a nice play by Desmond. 2 out, third inning, no score. Gonzalez ready. Little curveball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Mark Ellis struck out in the first inning. Remember that pattern. If he gets 2 strikes, you're done. The hitters with 2 strikes are 0 for 46 against Gio Gonzalez. Now the strike 1 pitch, fastball, grounded foul. So Ellis is on the edge of the guillotine. No balls and 2 strikes. No score, bottom of the third. Last home game for a little while. Dodgers will be gone for a week, but when they come home, Giants, Colorado, and Arizona. Strike 2 pitch on the way is swung on, popped in the air, foul. That should carry well back out of play. Still 0-2. A very bright blue sky. You wonder how, for instance, a catcher can have a whirl, come up out of the crouch and find the foul ball, let alone get under it and catch it on a day like today. Strike 2 pitch on the way. Whoop. Another one bites the dust. Ellis strikes out. So that's 0 for 47. If you have 2 strikes, you're done. And at the end of 3, no score. Left-handers are locked in. Look at those numbers. 9 strikeouts and only 1 hit. So Capuano and Gonzalez move along into the 4th inning. Capuano will be pitching to Desmond, Lombardozzi, and Espinosa. You know the expression table setters? They talk about the guys trying to get on base for the big hitters. Here's the first pitch to Desmond. 0-1. Washington's so-called table setters are not only not setting the table, there's no table. They're 0 for 20. And that counts Desmond and Lombardozzi. Breaking ball fouled. And on the hands, 0-2. So when you're 0 for 20 from the first 2 hitters, there's nothing to clean up. Oh, 0-2 the count. Desmond struck out in the first inning. Fastball, but he missed 1-2 the count. Chris Capuano getting that economics degree. He is certainly well fixed when he finally calls it a career. Off-speed pitch, foul ball. Still 1-2. So Desmond back up there trying to get something started. Capuano has retired 9 in a row, striking out 4 of them. Another fine crowd on this final game of the homestand. Temperature 74 degrees when the game started. And whack to left field. Going back on the ball is Gwynn. This one hits the bullpen gate. And Desmond on his way for 2. And he's in there standing with a double. That's the first hit for Washington. And they finally have a table setter get to the table. They are now 1 for 21 atop the heap in the series. And it's a line drive double from Ian Desmond. So after 9 in a row, Capuano gives up the double. Lombardozzi, Espinosa, and LaRoche trying to move him around. Uribe in on the grass at third. Loney shortens up, but he's wide of the bag at first. No score, 4th inning. And the bunt. Good bunt. Very good bunt. Uribe picks it up. Just does get him. And on the sacrifice, Desmond goes to third. So you can show and see how hard pressed Davy Johnson is to get a run. We're in the 4th inning, no score. A leadoff double by his leadoff batter. And then the number 2 hitter bunts. So Davy knows just how precious the runs are. So with 1 out in the 4th inning, no score, the Dodgers play the infield halfway. Danny Espinosa struck out in the 1st inning. Washington is averaging a little bit more than 3 runs a game. Capuano from a stretch, back to the runner at third. And works away. 1 ball and no strikes. No runs, 1 hit for each side. We're in the 4th. And that's popped in the air, foul off first, back into the crowd. 1-1 the count. The Nationals trying to go home in first place. They're a game in front of Atlanta as the day began. They have a record of 14-7, but Davies' club has been burned here, losing 2 in a row. Dodgers beat Washington 4 out of 6 last year. In fact, Washington had won 6 straight series until they came in here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Remember the writer Roger Kahn? He wrote the famous book about the boys of summer. Kahn had a devastating line for the old Washington Senators. He said for the Washington Senators, the worst time of year is the baseball season. Yeah, right. But not this club. This is a good ball club, and when they finally get healthy, when they get Ryan Zimmerman back, when they get Michael Morse back, they're going to be tough. They will score some runs then. Just a question of when they're going to get them back. But it is a good young ball club, really heading in the right direction. 2-1. Ground foul, and it actually hits the third base coach, Bo Porter. He's wearing a helmet, and he's okay. Luckily, that was a ground ball that hit Bo. Had trouble getting away. That's the thing about these coaches, you know. I used to beg and cry and whimper to make them wear helmets. It's such a man and ego thing, a macho thing. But let's face it, their reactions are not the way they were. They wear helmets, but they still don't wear the ear flap. 2-2. And look out, coming down the line and then going back to third is Desmond. Boy, he really took liberties. 3-2 the count. Because if you're a runner at third, the left-hand pitcher has his back turned to you, and now Capuano backs off, looks over at him. Bo Porter went over to talk to him, and Desmond walks down the line. 3-2 the count. Outfield straight away, infield halfway. No score in the fourth. Down he goes. So Espinosa strikes out a second time. And the batter now will be Adam LaRoche. For Capuano, by the way, with a runner at third, we always look it up. He does not have a wild pitch or a balk. No runs, one hit for each side. The Nationals had Desmond lead off with a double. Lombardozzi sacrificed only to have Espinosa strike out. So now you have left-hander against left-hander. Capuano working against Adam LaRoche. No score. And ball one. Adam LaRoche is 2 for 10 in the past. Struck out in the second inning, so he's 2 for 11. Adam with a 1,400-acre ranch in Kansas. He calls it E3, which in scoring in baseball would mean era first baseman. The 1-0 pitch, he holds up. Pretty good breeze picked up, blowing left to right. And, of course, Adam has 2 home runs in the series. 2-0 the count. Capuano, in his previous starts, has given up 3 home runs. 2 balls and no strikes. Desmond down the line from third. 2-1. Final score. Remember, when the day started, the Braves were 1 game behind Washington, and the Braves have just knocked off the Pirates 4-3. Tim Hudson finally got his first win, and the Braves are making noise. They're now 14-8. So that would be the identical mark should Washington lose here today. Then Washington would go home tied with Atlanta. We're in the fourth, no score, 2 out. The Nationals with a runner at third. That's off the plate. 3-1, and of course the way LaRoche has been swinging the bat, if he likes it, you got to figure he's swinging 3-1. Outfield deep, especially Ethier in right field. 3 balls and 1 strike. Way off the plate. Nice save by Matt Trainer. So they really didn't want much of LaRoche. He gets the walk. And the batter will be Xavier Nady. They grounded to third. Xavier's 0 for 1.
Xavier Nady.
Nady is really struggling. I mean, they put him in because Jason Worth was struggling. So they play Nady, who came in hitting 140. Another indication of why Davy Johnson has been on the Rolaids. First and third, 2 out, 4th inning, no score. Nady grounded to third in the 2nd inning. Xavier, born in Carmel, that beautiful area, but he grew up in Salinas, the lettuce capital of the world. Went to University of California, Berkeley. 0-1 the count. X, as they call him, with that first name Xavier. Nady back up, trying to pick up somebody here. 2 out and 2 on at the corners. No score, 4th inning. Oh, and 2. Jason Worth certainly figures to play just about every day, but apparently struggling despite the fact he has 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in. The Washington outfield collectively has only 3 home runs, and 2 of them sitting down right now. 0-2 the count to Xavier Nady. One and 2 the count. Capuano taking plenty of time. Again, looking over to see what Desmond is doing. With the left side of the infield deep, Desmond's been able to wander down that third base line quite a bit. 1-2. No runs and 1 hit for each side. The Dodgers had a 2-out double in the 2nd inning for Justin Sellers. The Nationals a leadoff double by Ian Desmond. So the 2 shortstops each have a double. Well, that's really something, huh? They play sacrifice in the 4th inning. The number 3 hitter strikes out, and the number 5 hitter strikes out, and at the end of 3.5, no score. Buy the new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit AT&T.com/free your TV. By El Pollo Loco, crazy you can taste. And by Mercury Insurance. Get a free quote and get 2 Dodger tickets at Dodgers.com/Mercury. Bottom of the 4th inning, no score in the ball game. It has been quite a struggle for the Washington Nationals They get men on base, and they can't do anything about it as Matt Kemp takes a strike. Washington is now 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position. So Davey gets them out there, and they stay there. 1-1. Nice touch last night when Matt Kemp hit the game-winning home run in the 10th inning, mobbed at home plate. But then when he finally got out of the mob, he ran over to the screen at home plate, put his hand up against the screen, and a woman stood up, put her hand against the screen. It was his mom. Nice touch. 2-1 to count to Matt. Two and two. Well, here's that 2 strikes. Here's the moment with Matt Kemp and his mother touching hands at the screen. Always remember when Matt signed the contract for $160 million, and they asked his mother for a quote, and she said, "That's a lot of money." Matt Kemp, meanwhile, a shot back at Gonzalez, who throws in the dirt, and a good pick by Adam LaRose. And they want to make sure that Gonzalez is okay. That thing was drilled. So there'll be a meeting at the mound. Gio seems to try to wave people away as if say, "I'm okay." Got him on the left forearm right near the elbow. He kind of turned sideways. He didn't have a good follow through, and that left arm was exposed. And maybe he was just trying to get out of the way. In fact, we look at it again, and it looked like instinctively he was trying to duck. And the ball got him a little bit on the left arm, so they'll let him throw a couple. It's not like Javi Guerra, who took one on the chin. All part of the job. You're 60 feet 6 inches away. You make a stride towards the plate, and you can obviously be a target and sometimes a victim. So Matt hits it hard. A glancing blow, but then Gio is able to scamper after the ball and throw Kemp out. All right, 1 away, and a huge sigh of relief in Washington.
Number 16.
The Washington Monument probably shuddered on that comebacker. So here's Ethier. Andre struck out in the first inning. Gonzalez has 5 strikeouts while allowing 1 hit. Ball 1. The 2 names, when you see them in the box score, you know Washington's fortunes will change a little bit. Ryan Zimmerman at third base and Michael Morse in the outfield. Morse is about 6'5", 245. He is one big hombre. I understand hurt his back while throwing the ball. Meanwhile, 3-0 to count. In this kind of a game, I would say there's nothing automatic about Ethier taking 3-0. And ball 4. There's Ryan Zimmerman. He hurt his right shoulder the other day. We understand Neil Elatrash, Dodger doctor, gave him a shot. I think it was cortisone. But until he gets his bat in the lineup, he's an all-star. He's a terrific player. They're just not going to be the same. Ryan Zimmerman has hit as many as 33 home runs. He's as many as 106 runs batted in. And, of course, Washington really needs him. High drive into center. Going back on the ball is Harper at the track at the wall. One-hands it as he crashes into the wall. Is that kid something? Everything he has done in the series has been extremely impressive. And he is driven to his knees. He hit the wall so hard. Bryce Harper, 19 years old. Watch him. Going to the wall. One hand crashes and is knocked on his back, but holds on to the ball. Wonderful young player. We've already seen him now make a great catch. We've seen him make a great throw. We've seen him come up with an RBI. We've seen him come up with a 400-foot double. And they want to make sure he's okay. Bryce saying, "Yeah, I'm all right." I shudder when I think, and talking about shuddering, I'm sure his parents, Ron and Sherry, who are here, there they are. For a split moment, everything stopped, but Bryce is okay. Every time I see somebody run into a wall here, a wood panel wall, I shudder to think of the old days when most walls in most ballparks were concrete. Yeah. I mean, you could easily get hurt in many of the ballparks on a ball just like that. But here, that plywood wall throws you off the wall as opposed to where you just drop. So 2 down, and here's James Loney. One of the great players the Dodgers ever had back in the very late 30s, and I mean possibly would have been a great player, an outfielder named Pete Reza. Pete Reza was the early Mickey Mantle. He is switch hitter, great speed, power from both sides of the plate, good hitter, great fielder, and was accident prone. Fractured his skull crashing into a wall, broken ankle just stepping on first base taking a lead. I think we talked about it before. The actuary tables, they figure out that some people are actually accident prone. Well, Pete was accident prone, and wouldn't you know, he retired barbecuing in the backyard. A propane tank blew up in his face. Just terrible. But what a player he would have been. Hit right till LaRoche makes it look so easy. No runs, no hits, only because of that wonderful play by 19-year-old Bryce Harper, and we're scoreless. In the ball game to the 5th inning as we continue to celebrate, as we will all year long, the 50th anniversary of Dodger Stadium. A couple of young players back to back made their debuts in this series. Tyler Moore is coming up, made his debut today in his first at bat, grounded to third. Then Bryce Harper, who is now a grizzled veteran in his second game. And then Jesus Flores, the catcher. No score in the 5th. Another pitching duel. Chris Capuano and Gio Gonzalez. Ball 1. Moore grounded to third. Young fella out of Mississippi. No pressure on Moore, not nearly the heat that was on Bryce Harper. And that was something to see Bryce Harper yesterday come up the steps in the dugout, turn, and there must have been at least 40 members of the media. A drive into the gap in right center, so there's a first major league base hit for Tyler Moore. A long single. They'll get the ball and bring it to the dugout and then to the dressing room. So let it be duly noted in the minutes of the last meeting, Tyler Moore collected his first major league hit in the 5th inning on this date. And now Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper 0 for 1, grounded to third. Uribe in on the grass. Talking about that moment, here it is. Harper up, squints in the sunlight, and then turns and whoops. You're on call, young man. In fact, the media wanted so much of him they totally ignored Steven Strasburg, much to Strasburg's relief, I'm sure. Check swing foul, 0-1. Bryce with his mom and dad. His dad, Ron, a steel worker, and his mom is a paralegal. Father Ron, mother Sherry. I love that story about Bryce Harper. He was 12 years old playing in a tournament in Alabama. The ballpark, the fences were 250 feet away from home plate. And after the games, Bryce called home and his mom Sherry said, "How'd you do?" And he said, "Okay, yeah, we won." Great. A few minutes later, the coach called his mother, said, "Did Bryce talk about what he did during the tournament?" She said, "No, he just said, okay." And the coach said, "Well, let me tell you what he did. He went 12 for 12. He had 11 home runs and a double." Even then, 3 years ago, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. One other young player, and he was another one who just looked absolutely like a god for baseball, Clint Hurdle. When Clint Hurdle was signed, he was a young phenom. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So Harper chases the ball in the dirt. Down he goes. One away. And now Jesus Flores coming up. You could see the lunge. He has a tendency, they tell me, to overswing, to overstride, to attack the ball. That time he was just badly fooled. 7 strikeouts for Chris Capuano, and the batter is Jesus Flores. So the Dodgers had Kershaw get into the 9th inning. He held them to 2 runs. That was on the home run by LaRoche with a man aboard. Then Billingsley went 7 and allowed 1 run. And here's Capuano. He is in the 5th, and he struck out 7. No major league team is an off day for a pitcher. I mean, they still have to work hard to get these hitters out. But at least for the moment, Washington not much of an offensive threat. Oh and 1. And fouled away upstairs off first base. Earlier we were talking about things with Washington during the war. One of the more emotional moments in 1945, the Washington Senators had a pitcher who had been an Air Force pilot in World War II, had been shot down and lost a leg. 1-2. His name was Bert Shepard. And in 1945, in a game in Washington, they brought in Bert Shepard to pitch in relief against the Boston Red Sox. And Bert Shepard pitched 5 innings in that game. Gave up 1 run, but sadly never played in the major leagues again. Did play for a couple of years in the minor leagues. And of course, you can imagine how emotional it was having Bert pitch. Just like Pete Gray, who played the outfield, believe it or not, for the St. Louis Browns in the major leagues for 1 year. Pete had one arm. And you think, one arm? How? He did. He really did. One and two. And that's going to be smoked and grabbed by Sellers. So Justin Sellers taking a base hit away from Jesus Flores with that leaping stab of the line drive. Up the ladder. No play at first. And now Gio Gonzalez coming up. Thanks to the computer and thanks to the fellows who looked it up for me, we were talking about Pete Reiser. In 1941, his rookie year, Reiser hit .343. And he's the fellow who said he really could have been another Mantle. Strike, 0-1. Reiser that year scored 117 runs, and besides the home runs, he had 56 other extra base hits. He was something. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Gio Gonzalez. Kind of a quiet afternoon. Nothing going on but good pitching. Capuano at 75 now. And that squirts away from Trainer, but he does a good block. Keeps it close by. Not much Moore could do but hold on at first. No runs, 2 hits for Washington. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. Dodger hit was a double by Justin Sellers. Little flare just over first and down the right field line. 2-1. That's a strike. Gio flied to left in the 3rd inning. Giovanni Gonzalez. Off speed. That's dirty pool to throw a change. And way out in front of it was Gio. And that's 8 strikeouts for Chris Capuano. No runs to hit a man left. We're still scoreless.
Enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
No score, bottom of the 5th inning. Gio Gonzalez and Chris Capuano. Kind of a lazy, quiet Sunday afternoon, so we've been trying to come up with a few tidbits and stories. You know, the Dodgers in the early days, especially in the 20s, were very much confused, running in all different directions. And I don't mean so much the players, but management. And one of the reasons was something that happened on this day in 1925. You remember the Dodgers played in Ebbets Field. And the owner of the Dodgers was Charles Ebbets. And he died. His heir apparent was President Ed McKeever. And they went to the funeral in the driving rain. And believe it or not, this is just part of the zany history of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Sellers are comebackers, so just like that, 1 out. Anyway, when they brought the casket to the grave, it didn't fit. The grave wasn't wide enough, wasn't long enough. I don't know. So anyway, they had to get the crew to come and open up the grave to fit the casket. And the funeral party stood by the grave in the driving rain. Ed McKeever was the heir apparent. He knew everything about the club. He was going to take over. But standing in the rain, he developed a terrible cold, and a few days later died of pneumonia. So all of a sudden, in a couple of days, they lost 2 presidents of the ball club. Line drive, base hit. So we open up with a single, Matt Trainer, and that'll bring up Capuano. So that was just one reason. And what they did, the manager, Wilbert Robinson, and in those days, the Dodgers were called the Robins after Robinson. The baseball manager took over the ball club. So no wonder they were one step from foreclosure. Just one of the zany moments with the Dodgers. All right, Trainer at first with a line drive single. Capuano in what looks to be a bunt situation, shows bunt. Ball 1. 1-0. Chris checking with Wallach to see if it's on. Capuano, a pretty good bunter. He has 3 sacrifices already. 1 ball and no strikes. Off the plate. 2-0. No score. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs and 2 hits for each side. Capuano has struck out 8. Gonzalez 5. A bunt picked up by Gonzalez, who throws high, but he saved Espinosa up to Spirit. So on the 1-out sacrifice, Trainer takes second, and the batter will be Gwynn. Let's take a moment and have you do a little thinking, okay? Matt Kemp, as you know, has 11 home runs. Which 2 players share the Major League record for most home runs in April? Tell you in a little while. But right now, here's Tony Gwynn. Tony has walked and popped up. I look at Tony Gwynn, I think of that old line during the war where the soldier says, "Sir, I'm at attention. My clothes are at ease." And that's Tony's uniform. High fly ball to shallow left. It's the shortstop, Desmond, in foul ground to take charge. Nice play by Ian Desmond. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 5, no score. Had a delightful right-hander by the name of Bert Hooton. Two things with that Hoot in his last name. We call him an owl. And the other was he was very successful at night. And on this day in 1982, Bert Hooton went up against the Philadelphia Phillies. He not only beat them 4-0, he allowed just one hit. He faced only 29 batters, and he got the job done in 1 hour and 52 minutes. The Dodgers indeed gave a hoot by the name of Bert Hooton. He was a dandy. And with that in mind, let's go back to this one. This one is another push against shove, no score. Chris Capuano, who has done such a wonderful job, he has struck out 8, and he started off with the leadoff man, Ian Desmond. So he nailed Desmond on a pitch out of the zone, came back in the dirt to strike out Espinosa. Then he got LaRoche. Then he got Jesus Flores for his 4th. Then Danny Espinosa a second time. Xavier Nady bit the dust. And then in the 5th inning, he got Bryce Harper and for good measure, Gio Gonzalez. So 8 strikeouts for Chris. And we move along into the 6th inning. No score. Top of the order, Desmond, Lombardozzi, and Espinosa. Washington, as you know if you've been watching or listening or attending any of the previous 2 games, they are really struggling trying to score. They've had their chances. They've had men in scoring position, but they have been totally ineffective. With runners in scoring position in this series, Davey has to stand and watch, and his team 1 for 16. Wow. Davey was a very good player, and he was certainly a run producer. He was a home run hitter. And among other things about Davey Johnson, since this is the last game of the series, way back in 1952, when the Washington Senators were spring training in Florida in Orlando, Davey was the bat boy. And here you go all these years later, he comes here as the manager of the Washington team. Well, down goes Desmond. That's 9 strikeouts, 1 away. Don't forget it's UCLA night at Dodger Stadium, May 8th, Dodgers and Giants. And with the purchase of this special ticket package, you'll receive a ticket to the Coca-Cola All-You-Can-Eat Pavilion and a limited edition Dodgers and UCLA themed portable speaker. Tickets for the package limited, only available by purchasing at Dodgers.com/UCLA. 9 strikeouts for Capuano. Ball 1. Capuano last year had 13 strikeouts against Atlanta. 1 ball and no strikes. Talking about Davey Johnson, since not much is going on, in 1966, Davey Johnson got a hit against Sandy Koufax, the last hit Sandy would ever allow in the World Series. Yes, wasn't he something? 2-0 the count. And a fly ball to left. Wynn started back. Now he comes in. So 2 out in the 6th. No score. Danny Espinosa coming up. Danny has struck out twice. Davey Johnson certainly linked to the New York Mets. In 1969, he was playing for the Baltimore Orioles. He had a long fly ball for the final out to Cleon Jones to give the Miracle Mets the 1969 World Series championship. But he wasn't through. 0-1. Also in 1986, you may remember, Davey Johnson was the manager of the New York Mets when they beat the Boston Red Sox for the World Championship. So Davey has quite a background He's from Orlando, lives in Winter Park. He'll be 69 this year. And it'll feel a lot older until Washington starts to score some runs. Good player, good manager. Good man here. 0-2. 1-2. Espinosa from Santa Ana would love to do something. I'm sure he has a lot of family. He has struck out 5 times in the last 2 games and 6 times in the 3-game series. 1-2. 2-2. So Chris Capuano very much on his game, has struck out 9. He's allowed 2 hits, a double to Desmond and a single to Moore. Little change. So he goes all the way. Espinosa with 1 home run, but he has power. He hit 21 last year. Waiting on deck, Adam LaRoche. Three and 2. And he lost him. The Capuano gives up a walk to Espinosa. That would be the 2nd walk that he's allowed to go with his 9 strikeouts. Adam LaRoche struck out and walked. The only fellows who have avoided the strikeout so far, Lombardozzi and Tyler Moore. Everybody else has bitten the dust. 2 outs, 6th inning, no score. Espinosa at first. And a fly ball to center. Kemp is there. All right, no runs, no hits, a man left. At the end of 5.5 innings, no score. Up. Baseball's answer to push against shove. Capuano and Gonzalez, neither man giving a thing. Capuano with 9 strikeouts. Gio has 5. Each pitcher 2 hits. And Gonzalez ready to work in the bottom of the 6th inning. To Mark Ellis, Matt Kemp, and Andre Ethier. And naturally, in all honesty, Gio Gonzalez is pitching the better game because he's pitching against a much tougher team. Off the plate. 2-0 to Mark Ellis, who struck out twice. And that's lifted on the infield. A lot of guys could catch it, and it'll be the shortstop Desmond. One away. So with one down, the batter is Matt Kemp.
Dodger center fielder number 27, Matt Kemp.
Matt Kemp has struck out, hit back to the box, 0 for 2. As they really respect him coming off last year and then having such a wondrous year right now. When Matt Kemp hit that home run last night to turn out the lights, send us home, it was the 7th career walk-off hit and his 5th walk-off home run. Ball 1. Matt 0 for 2, Ethier is 0 for 1. Justin Sellers has a double to right, and Matt Traynor a single to center, and that's it. 1-1 the count. Two and 1 the count. Matt heaving a little sigh, now getting back in. No score, 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Ball 3. Gio just about making contact with the rubber. He is right on the edge of the third base side. Curveball missed. So a 1-out walk to Matt Kemp, and of course among his other great abilities, his ability to steal. So he's a factor standing at first. Now let's see. Adam LaRoche actually came off the bag at first as if he was going to look for a bunt, but then he's back on the bag. The infield is back. 1 out. Kemp at first, no score, 6th inning. So Gio has his hands full, a base stealing threat and a good hitter at the plate. Big curveball, ball 1. If you're a young pitcher, you might take a page out of Gio Gonzalez's book. When he's stretching before a start of a game, he wears a headset. What's he doing? He's listening to Motown, The Temptations, Aretha Franklin, Marvin Gaye, Barry White. Then he moves up. More modern stuff. All of that while stretching. So music hath charms. Off the plate. So pitching carefully, he walked Kemp. Now pitching carefully, he is behind 2-0. Jesus Flores out there to talk to him. Flores, the catcher, is from Venezuela. And he was picked out of the Mets organization. Ethier has struck out and walked 0 for 1. Kemp, cautious lead, not a big lead. Gio just staring at him. And another breaking ball away, ball 3. So all of a sudden, he's in danger of back-to-back walks. He had walked 2 coming into this inning. 3-0. See if they green light Ethier if the pitch is anywhere around the plate. Off the plate. So with 1 out, pitching very carefully to the 2 fellas who can dominate a game, and he's walked them both.
For the Dodgers, number 5, third baseman Juan Uribe.
Juan Uribe hit one right on the button, but right at Adam LaRoche. And then last time up, hit one to deep center. And that's when Bryce Harper made the great catch, crashing into the center field wall. If you weren't here, take another look. Harper on the dead run and starts to run parallel. Wham into the wall, but made the catch. 19 years old and forever young. So Bryce Harper has figured prominently in his first 2 games in his career. And by the way, he's batting third when Washington comes up in the 7th inning. Meanwhile, Steve McCatty is having a long chat with Gio Gonzalez about Juan Uribe. Uribe is 0 for 2, but he's hit the ball hard both times. Then you have the left-hand hitting James Loney. 1 out, 6th inning, no score. Kemp and Ethier taking their leads. And a high fastball. So all of a sudden, he's having trouble throwing strikes. Now missed 5 in a row. Way outside. Ball 2. 2-0. Gonzalez had made only 59 pitches in the 5th inning. Well, this has been a tough inning for him. 2-0 to Uribe. And ball 3. Now he is thoroughly frustrated. He got Mark Ellis on a pop fly. Then he walked Kemp. Then he walked Ethier. Loney waits patiently. 3-0 the count to Uribe. Who knows? They might let him swing 3-0. No chance. Over his head. So with 1 out, Gio Gonzalez walks the bases loaded. Craig Stammen gets up, right-hander in the National bullpen. And here comes Loney with the bases loaded and 1 out. Loney twice has hit a ground ball to Adam LaRoche. Gio, of course, knows full well he can't allow a bunch of runs, not with an ineffective offense. So he's getting squeezed at both ends. He's got Matt Kemp at third, Andre Ethier at second, Juan Uribe at first. James Loney has 2 grand slams in his career. Big breaking ball off the plate. It seems so easy. You come to a ballpark and you watch a guy throw a strike. It is so hard. And it seems to me, just sitting up here, that the strike zone has almost disappeared. 1 ball and no strike. 1-1. You say, what do you mean the strike zone has disappeared? Well, in the old days, the strike zone was pretty easy. The hitter would step into the box, and you knew from the armpit to the kneecap was the strike zone. But honestly, as the years go by, it seems to me the strike zone has become a little box directly over home plate. Fastball. Oh, Loney now 1-2. And remember the story about Gonzalez with 2 strikes. I've forgotten now. It's 0 for 48. If he gets 2 strikes on you, you're done, at least up to the moment. 1-2 to Loney. And it's going to be a flare. It's going to drop. 1 run will score. Here's Harper's throw. 2 runs will score. And the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead. And it is James Loney who breaks that 0 for 48 with 2 strikes and singles in 2 runs. Just put the bat on the ball, not trying to overpower it. Harper trying to make a play, but didn't come close. Throw way off the line. So both Kemp and Ethier, who walk, come home to roost, and the Dodgers lead 2-0. They have runners at first and second, with Uribe at second, Loney at first. Justin Sellers double to right and hit back to the box. And a strike. So in the series, the Nationals huffed and puffed and got 2 runs in the first game. They struggled, and with 2 in the 9th inning, scored 3 in the second game. And here they are, they're down 2-0 here in the third game as the Dodgers try for a sweep. Dodgers haven't swept the Washington Nationals here at Dodger Stadium in a 3-game series since July of 2008. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2. So that was an amazing streak with 2 strikes on the hitter. The hitters, whoever they were 0 for 48 against Gonzalez until today. One and two. He's making a lot of pitches in the inning now because of those 3 consecutive walks. For the first 5 innings, he was very sharp. He made 59 pitches, but you can see he's already made 24 in the inning. 2-2. And he goes 3-2. He had only walked 7 men coming into this game. He's walked 5. And Sellers goes down. So another 2-strike hitter bites the dust. So with 2 strikes, the hitters, including Loney, 1 for 50. Matt Trainer flied to left, single to center. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Josh Lindblom begins to warm up. Chris Capuano has made 92 pitches in 6 innings. 0-1 to Trainer. Juan Rivera, who was very close to starting, appeared as a pinch hitter last night, grounded into a double play. But he said no pain anymore in the hamstring, maybe a little tightness. So look for him to be starting on the road trip. 0-1. Fouled away. So look out, Trainer. Got 2 strikes on you. Meanwhile, Capuano keeping that valuable left arm wrapped up. He does not look like a pitcher who's coming out of the game. 2 on, 2 out, 0-2 the count to Trainer. Got it. So another 2-strike hitter bites the dust, but 1 didn't, and that was James Loney. And with 2 strikes, James singles to left center, and the Dodgers lead 2-0. Gio Gonzalez, the Dodgers lead 2-0. You know, Fox Sport is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. So to learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Gio Gonzalez, with that remarkable record, when he has 2 strikes on a hitter, the hitters are 1 for 51. But that one hit was James Loney, who singled with the bases loaded. Now Xavier Nady was grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. That was a tough inning for Gio. He made 29 pitches. Nady 0 for 2. Fouled away. Davey Johnson doing everything he can, playing Nady, who's hitting only 140, hoping that somehow or other he might get some lightning in a bottle, but Nady's 0 for 2. Fouled away. Washington trying to fight the thought. They've lost 3 in a row. Should they lose to the Dodgers, they would go home tied with Atlanta because the Braves already won. They would have the identical record, 14-8. Fly ball. Kemp on the move, calling for it. Well, Nady goes 0 for 3. 1 out in the 7th inning. Remember, we were talking about Matt Kemp earlier. He has 11 home runs. And which 2 players share the Major League Baseball record for most home runs in April? Albert Pujols had 14 6 years ago in April. Alex Rodriguez had 14 in April 5 years ago. By the way, talking about Albert Pujols, he will eventually start hitting, but the last we checked, he has yet to hit a home run after 88 at-bats. One of the finest hitters, having a lot of trouble moving to the other league. Never having seen the pitchers, it's extremely difficult, even with all of his ability. We're not going to run out of April until tomorrow night. So Kemp has what's left of today and his at-bats in Colorado. And, of course, in the rarefied air of Denver, you never know. Hope burns eternal. Matt has 11, needs 14. 2-1 to Tyler Moore. So Bryce Harper made his debut last night. Tyler Moore making his debut today. Distress signals obvious as Washington struggles to find a run. 2-2. And a fly ball to left field and deep, but still playable, and Gwynn is over there. So 2 fly balls here in the 7th inning. 2 down. And Bryce Harper coming up. So Harper, who has been very, very impressive. 6'3", about 225 pounds. It won't be 20 until the 16th of October. And a strike. Oh, and 1. Hard ground ball into right field. So Bryce Harper 1 for 3 with a single to right. And the batter will be Jesus Flores. So for Harper, he's done an awful lot. Last night he had a double for his first major league hit. He had a line drive out to pick up his first RBI. He made a great throw to the plate. Would have had a put out, except Hairston slapped the ball at a Ramos mitt. today he's crashed into the center field wall and made a great catch on the ball hit by Uribe, and now he singles to right. So yes, we have seen Bryce Harper, and he's very, very impressive. Here's Flores, 0 for 2. Ball 1. Flores struck out and lined to short. A leaping catch by Sellers to take a hit away from him. Rick Ankiel comes out on deck, left-hand batter, to hit for Gio Gonzalez. 1 ball and no strikes. In the dirt. Nice save by Matt Trainer. 2-0. Well, Chris has gone over the 100 pitch mark, so they'll be watching him very, very carefully. Try to get him through this inning. Matt Trainer looks at the bench before going out. So I'm not sure whether Matt was looking at Mattingly or Mattingly had whistled to tell him to go out. But when you see that, you know they're going to the bullpen. So Mattingly is talking to the plate umpire, Ed Hickok. And we will see the Dodgers go to the pen. Josh Lindblom is warming up. They haven't called him in yet, but here he is now, so we'll be back. Two out in the 7th inning. Chris Capuano, after making 105 pitches, is lifted, and the veteran left-hander turned in a gem. 6 2/3 innings. He allowed 3 hits and no runs, walked 2, and struck out 9. Last year he struck out 13 against Atlanta, and 9 would certainly do today. So they give the ball to Josh Lindblom, and he comes into the game along with D. Gordon. So if you are keeping score, D. Gordon is at shortstop batting 9th, and Lindblom would go into Justin Sellers' spot. Remember, Lindblom inherits a count of 2 balls and no strikes. If Flores walks, the walk would be charged to Capuano. That's a strike. 2-1. Lindblom has been a tower of strength for the Dodgers coming out of the bullpen. Josh 1-0. Earned run average 0.7. Foul back. The opposition is hitting 135 against Lindblom. So Josh is a big man, 6'5" and 240, but he's only 25 in June. I mean, he's really just starting out. A closer at Purdue, the big Boilermaker, has really been a gem for the Dodgers. 3-2. Chad Tracy now replaces Rick Ankiel. in the on-deck circle. Three and two. Remember, should Flores walk, the walk is charged to Capuano. So this is a big pitch. Runner goes, and a drive to left down the line and hooking foul. Foul by plenty. So with two out, Harper will go back to first. Two nothing. Favor of the Dodgers. Seventh inning. Runner goes, and another fly ball to deep left field. However, it's playable. Wind is there. So no runs, one hit, a man left, and we're heading to the bottom of the seventh. 2-0 Dodgers. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. You can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. By 76 Gas, we're on the driver's side. By Club Serrano. Get in on the action. Go to sanmanuel.com for details. And by Toyota. Check out the full line of fuel-efficient vehicles at your Southern California Toyota dealer. Bottom of the seventh inning, 2-0 in favor of the Dodgers. The outfield is shuffled a bit by Davey Johnson. Bryce Harper moves to left field. Rick Ankiel, who will be leading off in the pitcher's spot, will take over in center. Xavier Nady is in right field, and Craig Stammen is the new pitcher, and he will go into Tyler Moore's spot. So Craig Stammen, a very good pitcher with an ERA of only 1. Brought in here to try and shut down Messrs. Gordon, Gwynn, and Ellis. Gordon showing bunt. D struggling to get aboard, hitting .210. He has struck out 18 times and he has only walked 5. One ball and one strike. Dodgers scored twice, 3 walks with 1 out in the 6th inning, and then the base hit by James Loney. Stayed high. Craig Stammen is out of Coldwater, Ohio. Went to the University of Dayton. Drafted by the Nationals back in 2005. Missed again. Stammen is 6'3", 210. Just turned 28. Basically fastball, curveball, and changeup. And a high strike. Come back, D. 3-2. For Stammen, when he was at Syracuse, Steve McCaddy was the pitching coach at Syracuse, and they've joined each other here in the Nationals. Three and two. Little roller. Danny Espinosa. So Gordon goes 0 for 1. 1 away in the 7th, and Tony Gwynn coming up as walk popped up and fouled out. One out in the 7th. Dodgers lead 2-0. Ankiel, Desmond, and Lombardozzi due up in the 8th inning for Washington. And ball 1. Dodgers trying to go 16-6 with a victory today. That would equal the great start of the 1983 team. That's a strike. 1-1. Dodgers heading out to play Colorado and Chicago and then come home, and they'll be tested by the Giants, Colorado, and Arizona. Giants are beating San Diego last we checked 4-1. Two balls and 1 strike to Tony Gwynn. Breeze blowing out to right field and blowing out pretty hard. High fly ball slanting across is Harper to make the catch. And we have 2 down in the 7th. You know, introducing the Dodgers' new 10-game flex plan is easy. The flex plan allows you to pick and choose the games you want to see during the remaining Dodger home schedule. You choose from bobblehead night, rivalry matchups, or your preferred day of the week, with tickets starting at $8. So visit Dodgers.com/mini plans or give us a call 323-224-1365. 2 out in the 7th, and here's Mark Ellis. Struck out twice, popped up 0 for 3. Ellis did not start in last night's game, but got in and had the key base hit in the 9th inning. Mark hitting .250. So Gio Gonzalez had 5 scoreless innings today. That extended his streak to 25 consecutive scoreless innings, and then all of a sudden he couldn't find the strike zone. With 1 out, he walked 3 in a row and got 2 strikes on Loney. And James just slapped a base hit over the head of the shortstop Desmond. 2 runs scored, and that's the story right now. 1-2. Foul back. Stammen throwing hard. He hit 95 on the gun with that pitch. 1-2 to count to Mark Ellis. Dodgers trying to have a home record with a win today of 10-2. Pretty impressive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a fly ball to left. Harper was playing shallow. And that's it. 1, 2, 3 innings. Stammen sets him down. And at the end of 7, it remains Dodgers 2, Washington nothing. It'll be Rick Ankiel, who finished up today in center field after not starting. Then Ian Desmond and Steve Lombardozzi. Josh Lindblom, who came in to get Flores, inherited a 2-0 count, went 3-2 and got him to fly out. Now working on Ankiel, who started last night, went 1 for 4, struck out twice, and did not play in game 1. So the converted pitcher, Rick Ankiel, at the plate. And ball 2, 2-0. Rick Ankiel, 6'1", about 215. Born in Fort Pierce, Florida, just down the road from Vero Beach, where the Dodgers used to train. He lives in Jupiter. That's a strike. And Ankiel has a little power. He had 9 home runs last year. 2-2. And Ankiel was a high bonus player. Got about a $2.5 million bonus to sign with the Cardinals. Well, that was way back 1997. So 15 years, a lot has happened. Ankiel, when he signed, was originally a pitcher. And then he had a famous, although very painful, meltdown on the mound in the LCS of Game 2 back in 2000. He was pitching against the Mets. In Game 2, he threw 4 of 14 pitches to the backstop. 5 of his 20 pitches were wild. In Game 5, he had 9 wild pitches. So eventually, they decided he wasn't going to cut it as a pitcher. Went back to learn how to play the outfield, learn to hit, and he's come back. Great story. Two and 2 to Rick Ankiel. And down he goes. So he becomes the 10th strikeout and the first one for Lindblom. Here's the upcoming schedule now. The Dodgers will finish up with Chicago on Sunday the 6th. They will come home and play the Giants on the 7th, 8th, and 9th. 10th is an open date on the weekend with the Rockies, and the first 2 days after on the 14th and 15th. with Arizona. And after a brief 2-game series in San Diego, they'll come back and play the Cardinals. That's a strike. So 1 away. Ian Desmond is 1 for 3. Is struck out twice. Led off the 4th inning with a double, and they left him at 3rd. Big crowd on hand on the heels of a sellout last night. We have 48,753 today. We had over 54,000 last night. 0-2. Little foul ball. Final score up north, the Giants beat the Padres 4-1. Left-hander Madison Bumgarner went 7 2/3 and picked up the victory. Should the Dodgers hold on, the Giants would remain 4 games back of the Dodgers. And Desmond strikes out a 3rd time. Strikeout number 2 for Lindblom. Strikeout number 11 for Washington. So with 2 out, Lombardozzi trying to play third base for Ryan Zimmerman, but let's face it, he is a far cry from Zimmerman, and promptly gets a base hit. He was 0 for 4 in game 1, 0 for 5 in game 2 to be 0 for 9, and he was 0 for 11 when he just got the base hit.
Danny Espinosa.
So Lombardozzi is single, and that'll bring up Danny Espinosa. Espinosa has struck out twice and walked. Another national and a local boy who's really struggled. Struck out 3 times last night. He struck out once in game 1, so he has struck out 6 times in the series, and he bangs one at second base, but Ellis stays with it, and that's the inning. No runs, 1 hit, a man left at the end of 7 1/2, 2-0 Dodgers. There's a lot of offers there, 0 for 3s and 0 for 4. However, the most important hit belongs to James Loney. With 2 strikes and the bases loaded, he singled to drive in the 2 runs, and that's it. Dodgers lead 2-0. Bottom of the 8th inning with Matt Kemp. Right. Josh Lindblom picking up worked an inning into third after Chris Capuano had a brilliant 6 2/3. Lindblom made 20 pitches, Capuano 105, and down in the bullpen, Kenley Jansen begins to warm up. So Javi Guerra has had 2 bumpy rides, certainly one of them when he was struck in the jaw, and at least for the moment, Kenley Jansen acts like the closer. 1-2 to Matt. Struck out, hit back to the box, and walked, and that was a big walk. That's when Gonzalez lost it. Walked Kemp, walked Ethier, walked Uribe, and then Loney got the base hit. 1-2 to Matt Kemp. In the dirt, 2-2. Dodgers heading for Denver. Aaron Harang will open up against Nicasio tomorrow night. Ted Lilly Tuesday against Ulysse Chassin. And then Wednesday, Clayton Kershaw and Drew Pomeranz. The first 2 games will be on KCAL 9. And then the Wednesday game on Prime Ticket. Oh, Matt chasing a bad ball. Down he goes. So Kemp strikes out twice today. Pitch down off the plate, not even close. And the batter is Andre Ethier. Eight Dodgers have struck out. Gonzalez struck out 7. Stammen picks up 1. Ball 1. For 6 innings, Capuano and Gonzalez were really locked in. And then in the bottom of the 6th inning, that's when Gio suddenly lost the strike zone. Little ground ball, charging, gobbling it up is Lombardozzi. Nice play. For the Dodgers, struggling with Kemp and Ethier being shut down. Their so-called towers of power have come up empty. But the door was left open on the walks, and then James Loney had the key base hit. In the 9th inning, the Nationals are due to send up Adam LaRoche, Xavier Nady, and then a hitter for the pitcher Stammen. Ball 1. $48,753. Dodgers playing very good ball, worth seeing. So Friday night we had 44,800. Last night 54,200, and today 48,700. It's been a whopper of a series. Two and one. Dodgers opening up the series with Colorado, and so far at the expense certainly of San Diego. They've done well against the West. They're 6-1 in the Western Division. Ball 3. 3-1. Capuano and Lindblom, followed by Jansen, Gonzalez, and Stammen for Washington. And a little low, ball 4. So the 2-out walk to Juan Uribe, who walked twice today, will bring up Loney.
Dodgers first baseman, number 7, James Loney.
For the Dodgers, when you think about it, in the first game, they had a runner thrown out at the plate in the 8th inning, but held on to win 3-2. Then last night, it looked like they were really in trouble until Washington brought in Henry Rodriguez, who had 3 wild pitches. He was all over the lot and surrendered the lead. And then Tom Gorsolani was brought in, and the left-hander gave up the home run in the 10th inning to Matt Kemp. Today, Dodgers weren't doing anything until all of a sudden Gio Gonzalez walked 3 in a row. Though the Dodgers haven't overpowered Washington by any means because their pitching is so good. But if they can get through the 9th, they will still have swept the Nationals. One ball and 1 strike to James Loney. And ball 2. Coming out on deck again, yet to get his feet wet in the game, but Juan Rivera on deck to bat for Lindblom. Loney with the count his way, 2-1. Two and 2. Dodgers had trouble making contact. They had 7 hitters strike out against Gonzalez. And then Stammen got Kemp for number 8. However, the Washington pitchers were pretty generous, giving up 5 walks. Deuce is wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2-0 favor the Dodgers. And a fly ball to left field. Harper went back and has to come in. So no runs, no hits, a man left, and we're heading for the 9th inning with the Dodgers leading 2-0. Kenley Jansen will be coming in to close. Today, see every Dodger out-of-market game live online and your favorite devices in high-definition quality. Visit Dodgers.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Kenley Jansen taking over the role of closer, at least for now, from Javi Guerra. Javi Guerra, who was sailing along nicely. He had 7 saves, suddenly took one on the jaw, came back and was a bit wobbly last night, giving up a couple of hits and a run. So Kenley Jansen will try to close. Jamie Wright closed up in the 10th inning last night. Adam LaRoche will start it off. And ball one. LaRoche has struck out, walked, flied to center, 0 for 2. And hitting .329. He has 4 home runs. He has 2 of them in this series. And ball 2. LaRoche, who has power, hit as many as 32. 2-0. 3-0. Kenley Jansen coming out of the Dodger bullpen is 2-0. ERA 2.6. He has allowed 2 home runs. And very high for ball 4. So LaRoche draws the walk, and that makes Nady coming up a potential tying run at the plate. And looking at Kenley Jansen, LaRoche had 1 for 2 against him. Nady has never faced him. Chad Tracy, left-hand hitter, coming out on deck. And remember, they still have Jason Worth if they're pressed enough to use him today. And that's ball 1 to Nady. Jansen, his numbers so far in the important area: 6 walks, 21 strikeouts. Dodgers lead 2-0 in the 9th. LaRoche at first, nobody out. And ball 2. So Trainer out to the mound. Of course, the Dodgers know it can happen to their pitcher. That meltdown that happened to Gio Gonzalez. So Rick Honeycutt is going to go out and try and solve the problem with Jansen. It's easy to let it get away. In the 6th inning with 1 out, Gonzalez was just sailing along, and he walked Kemp, then he walked Ethier, then he walked Uribe. He did get 2 strikes on Loney, but James singled in the 2-run. Jason Worth, who's been a spectator all day, standing on the steps, taking in the action. Down in the Dodger bullpen, now that Jansen has shown a little bit of wildness, and Javi Guerra gets up and begins to warm up. The Honeycutt has tried to solve the problem for Jansen, and Xavier Nady 2-0, 0 for 2. So his average really taking a beating, because when he came into the game, he was only hitting 140. Nady has 1 home run. That's a strike. Down in the pen where you saw Guerra get up, he now has company. Scott Elbert, who pitched briefly last night, made only 5 pitches, but he's up in the pen as well. And a strike. 2-2 the count to Xavier Nady. Nady 0 for 3 today. Did not play last night. Went 0 for 3 in the first game. So he winds up going 0 for 7 in the series as he strikes out. Now Chad Tracy will be coming up to bat for Craig Stammen. Chad Tracy, the veteran left-hand hitter, put up some big numbers for Arizona for years. He appeared as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning last night and was walked intentionally. The night before, in the 9th inning, Jansen hit him on the hand. There were possibly 2 hand injuries in the series, and each man got away cheaply enough. Tracy, who got smacked on the back of the hand, and Jerry Hairston. But both of them bounced right back. 0-1 to Chad Tracy. He's been the #1 pinch hitter, but he's batting only 136. He's 2 for 10 coming off the bench. So Tracy trying to keep his club alive here in the 9th inning. He's out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Came up to the D-backs in 2004. 1-2. In his salad days, which would be 05 and 06, he had 27 home runs in 05, 20 home runs in 06. Last year with the Marlins, 1 home run. So Davies hoping he might get a little lucky here. Foul back. Waiting on deck, and it's a nice way to finish, if indeed it is the finish. It's the rookie Bryce Harper, who is 1 for 3 plus a dazzling catch of a ball hit by Uribe in the 4th inning. One and 2 to Chad Tracy, the pride of Charlotte, North Carolina. And so for Davy Johnson, he keeps sending them up there, and they keep striking out. That's 13 Nationals have gone down. And now here's Bryce Harper as Tracy goes back to the dugout empty-handed. Harper grounded to third, struck out, and singled to right field in the 7th inning. Harper's base hit was against Capuano, so then Lindblom came in and took care of Flores. There goes the runner to second. They let him go. So no stolen base, so-called defensive indifference. It's a good play, takes away the force. 1 ball and no strikes to Bryce Harper. Breeze blowing to right field, and Matt Trainer going out to talk to Jansen. Last night, Harper was 1 for 3 with a scoring fly ball. Did not play in the first game. But he's really been impressive. Had a double and a single, a scoring fly ball. Made a tremendous throw and made a super catch today. Way out in front. Naturally, at 19, he has visions not of sugar plums in his head, but of a game-tying home run. And that's just what they don't want him to do. Take that kind of a swing. They want him to just stay within himself, which is hard to do. Fouled away. Bryce, a very aggressive stride and swing, the kind of swing that would break his shoelaces. 1-2. Time. The ball boy went out to retrieve the ball, though they spotted it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. So Capuano had 9 strikeouts. Lindblom nailed 2. Jansen has struck out 2. And the 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. Flores on deck is 0 for 3. Three and 2. 2 out, 9th inning, 2-0 Dodgers, and it's fouled away. So Harper really attacking the ball, and he's up there hanging tough. 3-2. Bryce won't be 20 until the middle of October. And just off the plate. So he showed pretty good discipline to take that pitch, especially with 2 strikes. I mean, that wasn't far off the plate.
For the Nationals, catcher, number 26.
All right, first and second with 2 out. Jesus Flores struck out, lined out, flied to left. Flores from Venezuela. He'll be 28 in November. And ball 1. Flores was originally signed by the New York Mets. Never made it to New York, but 4 years ago came up to the Nationals. Outside of a trip to Harrisburg and to Syracuse, he's been with the Nationals. 1-0. And a strike. Flores, I think, with his body language, a little annoyed on the call by Ed Hickok. 1-1 to count. Tried to lift that one. So 1-2 the count. Dodgers trying to shut down Washington. Trying to sweep the series. Trying to have a 16-6 record for the first time since 1983. 2-2. Not that the Dodgers wore the cover of the ball at all. I mean, believe it or not, they have 2 runs on 3 hits. Deuce is wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on, and see you later. So all Jansen does is strike out the side. 14 Nationals struck out as the Dodgers shut him down and sweep all 3. Jansen made 26 pitches. So the Dodgers will leave town with a 3-game winning streak. They remain 4 games in front of the Giants. Their record at home is 10-2. And they have won 15 of the last 18 series going back to last year. So they are making a lot of noise. Remember, they'll start tomorrow night in Colorado, next weekend in Chicago, but more importantly, they will be home on the 7th, 3 with the Giants, 3 with the Rockies, and 2 with Arizona. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live. It's coming up next. Good afternoon, everybody.